All right, hey guys, this is Adam in China with the weekly update for the RAD140 that I got from a Chinese lab. Um, Let me just say I wouldn't. I stopped doing it. My original plan was to stop doing LGD last week and start doing RAD just to see what the effects were. But because I've already been running everything, I already know what my levels are as far as strength and um, irritability management and state control psychologically. So I just added another 10 mg or added 10 mg's of another compound, which was RAD, to the LGD and the EQ DECA test stack I'm running. Well, let me first say, before we get into that, that the Chinese DECA, this is like week 3 or 4. I'm not really noticing any restorative effects or healing effects like I do Pharmacom DECA with my shoulder. I do have reduced joint inflammation, and I could work out almost every day if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. And there is some negligible strength increase, but I'm not impressed with it. The EQ I like. It's only 200 mg's an ml, so I got to take like 4 injections a week. But this is like week 3 or 4, and my appetite certainly is increased, and there's a lot more vascularity to my shape. Um, and I've mentioned this before. The Chinese test sucks. I mean, it gives me good wood, but no strength and no like positive mood enhancement. So I would I tell you this: if you're gonna run Deco or tests, just do Pharmacom because they're great. Um, that being said, the Chinese EQ is okay, but unfortunately, you got to run so much of it that one bottle is going to be gone in a week. So my suggestion is you could probably just buy the raw liquid of EQ. I can get, you get 10 grams of it for $30. So, if you were to get like 100 grams, if it passed customs, plus the shipping, another $40 or $50. But you could make it at 300 mg's and ml. Make like I guess you could make 100 mLs at 300, even 400 mg's and ml because it's liquid. I've done that before, and you'll have enough to last several months. And you just do 2 injections a week, and you're fine. EQ is a great compound to run to any stack, but it will fuck up your cholesterol and your blood flow. So you got to make sure you thin the blood out with some baby aspirin or some other kind of you know thing that'll keep the blood flow going. That being said, I wouldn't fuck with Chinese Deco. I got raws and I got the liquid from Shanghai, and I'm not impressed with either. So that's that. Pharmacom test as always. I love that. So I will just keep running my Pharmacom Deca and Pharmacom test like I do. Um, you could just run Pharmacom test E at 300 every other day and get everything you want. I think, as long as you're eating 100 200 grams of protein. I would stay away from protein powder unless you want to do it like post workout. But I know people that drink that shit like 2 or 3 times a day, and I don't really understand why they do that because you can only absorb so much of it. Number one. Number two, you don't know what the fuck they put in that shit, and I would not be surprised if there was some kind of gelatin or other additives that are not really good for you. So I don't even take protein powder. It just I don't like it. I have done hydrolyzed whey, which is okay, but I would only do it post workout 1 time a day when your body really needs it. Um, some people do it before bed, but then you gotta wake up in the middle of the night and take a piss, or at like 5 in the morning because you're drinking 500 mLs of water or 3 cups of water before bed. 4 cups. I just or maybe you drink it in the morning really quick, at like 6 or 7 for some protein uptake, but don't drink that shit too much. Keep chicken, eggs, beef, whatever. All right. So that being said, let's get into the RAD. RAD 140. I bought 50 capsules at 10 mg's a cap. I spent $25. Got it from my Chinese company that I get my other SARMs, pills, liquids, caps from, and I don't like it. The reason why is because it makes me very, very aggravated, and it puts me in a negative state mentally, and I don't like that feeling. Any little problem you have will be blown out of proportion in your mind, and you will be thinking some fucking pathological shit. And I am not lying about that. I did trainee before, and I will never do that again because I did a 250 twice a week, and I didn't like that feeling. It had me thinking crazy shit, man, like paranoid, delusions. I'm not going to get into it. If you've ever done trainee, you know what I'm talking about. Now, maybe I have considered this. Maybe it's a kind of compound that you run maybe 100 mgs every other day, or even 50 mgs every other day, and it won't have such a pronounced effect on your psychological being. Tren Ace, on the other hand, does not do that. I can run that at 100 mgs a day, which is quite high, but I have done it just to see what it did. And it made me a little bit more aggressive. I'm aggressive by nature, but not so like, um, confrontational where I'm like, I want to beat somebody up. But Trent Ace elevated that feeling a little bit to where I was quick to buck up, if you know what I mean. Um, and it didn't really make me any leaner, but Trent E definitely did. Trent E cut me the fuck up, and it gave me high blood pressure. I don't know why they're so different, but I mean, I was taking 100 every day of Trent Ace, which is 700 a week, and 250 twice a week of Trent E, which is only 500. And the longer ester, of course, is heavier. So really, of that 500, only like 380 was really like, you know, the product. So I don't know why, but if you've ever done Trini, you know what I'm talking about. So I don't want to get into that. But I don't like RAD. I was only taking 10 mgs, and I don't like it. I didn't really notice anything. Of course, with the Pharmacom Test E, you know that shit will make you strong, and it just that by itself is really all you need. But I didn't have enough money to get the Pharmacom Deca that I wanted, so I just got the Chinese Deca and the Chinese EQ, which minimal, results with that, but it's cheap and it's only 200 mgs an ml, 250 mgs an ml. So, what do you expect from China, right? So I wouldn't buy the Chinese raws, and I wouldn't buy the Chinese liquids other than EQ. Stick if you're going to go test, just stick with Pharmacom or Eiffel Dango out of Germany, or there's a new supplier here in China, and I'm going to try them. It's called A1 Tech, and I think they're out of Germany, but you can get them on a couple of different steroid websites. So I'm going to try them. Their prices are comparable to Pharmacom. Um, Pharmacom E, I pay like $30 for 10 mLs Test 300, and A1 Tech is about the same, maybe a little bit more expensive, like maybe like $5 more expensive. So I'm going to try that, so people can have some baseline reference for that product and company. Um, Still haven't gotten the Chinese test tested. I'm still waiting for the pricing information for the test process from the Shanghai Chemical Testing Center. So I gotta wait for them to tell me how much it will cost before I decide. I will say that Chinese tests, the liquid, the already prepared liquid that I bought for like $10 a bottle, it gives me good wood, but it doesn't do anything for strength and really nothing. I mean, I don't, other than sex drive, which is okay, but I think maybe it's underdosed. Um, I've mentioned before mentioned before the fact that they use soy probably has something to do with it. But I just wouldn't waste your money on that shit, man. I wouldn't buy it. For your test and DECA, go with a reputable company that's not Chinese. Don't fuck with Centrino Labs. The only thing that's good that I've ever tried is their Dianabol and Turinabol. You gotta run it at 60 to 80. I've mentioned before. Their test prop sucks. Their test D sucks, and I've tried nothing else because I don't want to. Their Anavar doesn't really do anything to me. So, if you're gonna do D-ball or Turinabol, Centrino Labs I would say is okay, but you're gonna have to do like 60 to 80 mgs. So the RAD140 I don't like. Now, a lot of companies, they get their raw powders from China and then they repackage them. And so I don't know that anybody else has had the same experience with these like pathological thoughts or like just negative states of being from RAD 140. Nobody has posted anything like that. That guy from Viking Nutrition, I mean, I doubt that he does any of this shit. He just posts to sell it, you know. Um, so he mentions it, but they don't. Nobody says anything about the effects on the mood, and I think that's bullshit because if you do it, you're gonna feel some negative shit, um, almost assuredly. I don't like it. It didn't really add anything to my gym. Like I said, I'm already on Pharmacom Testy, and I'm already on this Chinese bullshit DECA. EQ doesn't do much for my strength. I just do it for hardening and vascularity. It does help with cardiovascular shit to a degree, like Carterin. Um, but appetite, it definitely kicks up the appetite when you get up to like 500 to 600 a week. Anything less than that, I don't really notice it. But when you get to that 500 to 600 mg a week threshold, you definitely kick up your appetite. So stay away from the Chinese stuff. I don't recommend it. Now, that to go back to the RAD, because we do know a lot of suppliers are getting their powders from China. It's possible that this was a bad batch. I don't know, but I wouldn't do it. And to be honest, I'm already doing LGD and test and EQ and DECA. Why would I even want to fuck with it? I just did it just for an experiment. LGD has everything you need. If you're already on test and DECA, you don't really need anything. You don't need anything else, to be honest with you, other than good eating and good lifting and good resting. Just those two compounds will give you everything you need. And if you want to throw in like MAST E or like bold or EQ, when you get off the DECA, that would be a good idea because it'll harden you up. I run DECA for two reasons, mainly for strength, and the other one is for joint recovery. Um, but when you run it for strength, you do it like three injections a week. Like if it's Pharmacom DECA 300 mg's an ml, I do one every other day. I do test Monday, and then that Tuesday, and then Wednesday test, and then DECA Thursday. And then so I just do it. I just alternate it, and it will get expensive. If you want to just run it for joint recovery, I think 1 ml a week, like 1.5 mLs a week, will put you at a point where you're getting some strength and a lot of joint health out of it. So I mean, when I my shoulder injuries, it's on and off. I must admit, last time I was doing DECA, I was also doing TP 500 and BPC, and after a month, my shoulder was fine. So I don't really know if it was the DECA or the TB or the BPC. That was a bad experiment run because I didn't really know what was what. But I can tell you those three together were great. So I just like, experimenting with things. If you're going to run an oral on there or in your cycle, LGD is probably the best one to do. RAD doesn't do shit for strength. Now, maybe because I'm doing all this other shit, I didn't notice anything the last week, but I'm not impressed with it, and I would recommend not doing it. If you want something for strength, LGD 4033 or 3033, which I would like to try again. I tried that a few months ago in that Excalibur from Aggressive Labs, and that shit really worked well, So you could just buy a SARM, an integrated SARMs product like Kong or Adonis or Primeval Nutrition with their Tri-SARMs, That was the most effective SARMs I've run. 10 mgs S4, 10 mgs LGD, and 10 mgs MK. And I took one 3 times a day, just 30 mgs, and I got great results from that. So you could think about that. But to be honest, if you're running test and DECA, you don't need anything else. That's it. You're going to get everything you need. If you're not on tests and you're not on DECA, LGD 403 is going to be fine at 10 to 20 mgs a day. I wouldn't worry about being shut down or not PCT or bullshit. Just take it and then see what happens. You're going to be on it for 6 to 8 weeks. In that time, see what happens to your body. If you need to get something for like test rebound or test production after you're over your cycle, you feel shut down, or I should say suppressed. There are plenty of OCT test boosters you can get, but if you don't want to do steroids, LGD is great. LGD is a really good alternative, and I would recommend it. If you're already on steroids, LGD is a great oral to throw in because you're not going to find legit Dianabol anymore. Good luck finding that. Even Pharmacom D-ball is not comparable to any D-ball in the past, and I just said Centrino Labs D-ball, it's still not comparable. So I think LGD at 30 mgs to 40 mgs is comparable to like 80 mgs of D-ball, so or 60 mgs of D-ball for strength, and even for size. LGD is going to give you better protein synthesis, so it's good if you want to squeeze on or squeeze in an oral to your cycle. That's not going to fuck you up like these other steroids will. I don't know about the pro hormones. I haven't fucked with them. I don't know anything about them, but I do know SARMs. With my experience, LGD is the best one I've ever had, and it doesn't fuck with my mind or my libido or my mood. RAD, I just don't like it. So that's my report. I must say, for these people that are doing RAD140, if you don't have any kind of psychological effects from it, then you're lucky. But for people that are posting or that are doing it, and you have some kind of mental thing from it, you should post it so people know. It's just better. So that's my experience. I would not do RAD 140. And if you're already on test and DECA, throw in LGD. If you're not on test or not on any kind of injectables, LGD is fine. Or some kind of integrated SARM that's got 3 or 4 different ones in it. I would not fuck with RAD. Maybe if it was at 5 mgs, okay, maybe 5 mgs, that might be an okay dose. Maybe the dosage is just too high, So there's that too. Maybe if you can find it at 5 mgs, you'd be okay. But it's an intense SARM, and I didn't notice anything as far as strength goes. So that's my update for the week, and the basic gist of it is I wouldn't waste your money on Chinese steroids other than EQ. You're better off going with Pharmacom or another reputable company. A1 Tech, I'm going to get some of that next week. We're going to do an experiment with that to see how their DECA is. I'm going to stop the Chinese DECA and start doing that to see if I get anything out of it. I haven't tested the Chinese test yet. Still got to work on that. I haven't gotten bloods yet because now I'm on Pharmacom tests and I know that shit's legit, so I don't need to go get tested. And the RAD 140, I wouldn't fuck with it. So that being said, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop me a line and voice your input. All right. Peace.